Hello everyone! Thanks for coming back to my channel, or if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it, as I'm, in this new adventure on YouTube. I'm trying a bunch of different things. Anyways, as you can see by today's title, and like I mentioned in my last video, today I want to talk about the Netflix documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats. Let me know if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, this video probably isn't going to make a lot of sense to you, because I'm not going to do a summary or anything. I mean, when this came out and people started watching it, it was kind of all over social media and all in the news and stuff, like, oh, this is a hot new documentary. So it's about Luca Magnotta, Canadian killer. It happened a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I think now. Anyways, go watch it. It's an excellent documentary. I wanted to talk about that documentary today. But first, before we get into it, I wanted to just tell a nice little cat story of my own that has a nice happy ending. So, right before Christmas, my cat, who I love dearly, her name is Mutton. It's a weird name, I know. It's her name. She's my sweet fur baby. She's 14 years old. And she got very sick. So I took her to the emergency vet, and the emergency vet is a 24-hour place. Anyways, she ended up having to have surgery to remove a hairball. And while they were in surgery, they saw that her pancreas had like a weird thing on it. It was, one spot of it was a different color from the rest. So they took some sample tissue for a biopsy. Some things happened. The biopsy never got sent off due to a miscommunication, but it was over Christmas, so it wasn't a big deal. So I called a couple of weeks later to be like, hey, I haven't heard the results of this test. What's going on with it? And that's when they figured out it hadn't got sent off. Anyways, it did get sent off eventually, and then the results came back. So it was 10:15 at night. I was out in the garage working out because we have a gym in there, and my phone rings, and it's the vet. So I answer it, and this lovely gentleman is on the phone, and he says, "Hello, is this Kayla?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And he paused and said, "Oh God, I'm so sorry. I've just realized what time it is. Please tell me that you're not sleeping." And I tend to stay up quite late, so I said, "No, I'm awake. You're good. It's all good." And he said, I'm so sorry." But anyways, Mutton is fine. She didn't have cancer. The biopsy was normal. So it was all good. It was just very sweet. That vet's office is just so wonderful to, think about calling me to let me know. Even if it was at 10:15 at night, I really appreciated it. And the guy was so funny. Can you imagine being on the other side of that phone call, realizing that you're calling someone that late at night, but it's already too late? You've already dialed the number. Like, I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall to witness the emotions that guy went through when he realized what time it was. Let's talk about this documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats. Oh my gosh, it was so different from any other true crime documentary that I've watched, as in this one didn't focus on as much on the murder itself as opposed to what led up to it. And what led up to it was probably one of the more interesting stories that I've seen. Like, they really got into these amateur internet sleuths and these Facebook groups trying to catch these animal abusers. It was so interesting. The only thing, and I feel like this is pretty common with most documentaries, is you watch it, and then as you think about it and you ponder it and you kind of hop online and you talk about it with other people, you kind of start to formulate some questions. Because no documentary, I feel anyways, is going to answer every single question that every single person has. I just don't think it's possible to do a full, entirely formed picture of the person, the victim, the family, the events that led up to. There's always going to be holes somewhere. I think it's just the nature of these things, it is what it is, right? So the questions that I have about this, I think were pretty common, and I did a little bit of digging online to just kind of see what everyone else was talking about in forums and everything. Here are my questions. So I think the first question that I saw a lot of was when they showed one of those cat videos, there was a second set of hands in that video. Who was that second set of hands? Luca's mom, we're gonna get into Luca's mom in a minute. Luca's mom is steadfast that that was Manny, that because Manny was the puppeteer of Luca, because Manny was in charge of Luca, and you know, he ran the Luca show essentially. And I just had such a hard time with the whole Manny theory, especially when they compared a lot of Luca's actions to some of his favorite Hollywood movies. I just had such a hard time believing that Manny actually existed. And I don't think that Manny existed. I don't think he was a real person. I think that was someone that Luca just came up with, either to protect himself or to create a false narrative. I don't believe that for a second. If you believe that theory, let me know and tell me why. Like, what are the things that are making you believe that Manny was a real person? Because I just don't. I don't. And I didn't think that that second set of hands was Manny's. I thought maybe it was a friend of Luca's or somebody else, but not Manny. And so when I was poking around online, I saw that John Green had put up a Facebook post in that group, and someone took a screenshot of it. So I can't say how reliable it is, but I think it would be easy enough to fact check, so I don't think it's made up at all. So John Green said in this post that a researcher from the CBC's Fifth Estate, if you're not Canadian, you might not know the CBC Fifth Estate. The CBC is a Canadian network, and the Fifth Estate is an investigative reporting show that they do. So a researcher from CBC's Fifth Estate was doing a story on Luca probably around the time that that his trial was going on, and they found that second set of hands in that video was actually one of Luca's neighbors. It was a female neighbor, I guess, that he was friendly with. He invited her over to make a video. She claims to not know that the animals were going to be harmed in the video. I don't know how true that is, or if she's just trying to not get in trouble. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. I believe that she was the second set of hands in that video. So that kind of answers that question for me, and I'm quite happy with that answer. I believe that to be the case. But I wish that they had put that in the documentary, like, oh hey, that second set of hands you saw in that clip we just showed, that was the neighbor. I think it would have squashed a lot of the Manny stuff. The other thing I wish that they had touched on a little bit more, when Deanna Thompson was talking about the casino stuff, because she worked at a casino, and when she was talking about a walkthrough video of the casino was posted, I wish that they had talked about that a little bit more. I saw online that a few people thought it was just that Luca had taken some promotional clips from like casino walkthroughs. I mean, you can search on YouTube and Google or search for walkthroughs from anywhere, right? And these videos come up. So I kind of wish that they had expanded on that a little bit more. Like, hey, yes, Luca did go to the casino. He did take this video, or he took it from online somewhere. He took it from a promotional video. He found out where Deanna worked. He searched online for for someone else who may have done a walkthrough video, and then he posted it to scare her. I kind of wish that they had just kind of tied that little loose end up. I feel like they just kind of left it hanging, which is kind of annoying, but it's such a small part of the story, but it still leaves a question, right? Like, how did he find out that she worked there, right? I mean, it kind of seemed like Luca was a bit of a online investigator himself, which is kind of scary. The other thing that kind of left me with questions was they featured heavily Luca's mom. And I understand why they did that. She was probably the only one willing to talk in the documentary, and that makes sense. That's fine. But I kind of wish that they would have been able to either get a statement from his dad or his grandmother. I'm not sure if his grandmother is still alive or not. But in reading the things that I read online and looking back at old news articles from when the trial was going on, it was very clear that Luca wasn't just raised by his mom. His dad was in his life and his grandparents were in his life, or at least his grandma had a considerable role in raising him. I really didn't like Luca's mom. I felt like she was, I don't want to say delusional because I feel like that's a little bit harsh, but maybe like a step down from delusional. As a parent, I get that you want to stand by your child, that you want to raise them up and feel like you raised them right and you want to stand by them. And you don't want to believe that they could be capable of these awful things. So I can see why she's clinging to that Manny theory, that Luca got in with the wrong crowd, that this Manny guy had taken over his life and was instructing him to do these horrible things. I just don't buy it though. I feel like if Manny was a real person, at least a small trace would have been left from him somewhere, you know? There was no surveillance images of Manny entering Luca's apartment building. You know, you can see Luca and Junlin go into Luca's apartment. But where's Manny if he was there orchestrating the murder? Where is he? He's not in the video. I don't believe that he's there. And hearing that or seeing that John Green confirms that the second set of hands in the cat video was the neighbor, that the neighbor confirmed it. Why would someone admit to being in that awful video if they weren't in it? I mean, seriously. I don't believe that that was Manny for a hot second. And I don't think that Manny ever did exist. I think that that Hollywood movie theory that they talked about at the end of the documentary was correct. I totally believe that. Going back to it, I don't like Luca's mom. I kind of wish that they had, like I said, a statement from his dad, or kind of talked about the testimony that Luca's dad gave during the trial. Luca's dad, during the trial, he didn't want his name published. It was on a publication ban. So anyways, and I don't think any images of him were shown, which makes sense. I mean, he claims to be schizophrenic, that he hallucinates, but he also claimed that Luca was schizophrenic and hallucinated and was hospitalized a couple of times for these hallucinations and hearing voices. So I kind of wish that they had talked more about that correlation, that, you know, Luca's dad was schizophrenic. Luca was probably schizophrenic as well. There's obviously some type of mental illness going on with Luca, because no person with a normal functioning brain is going to make these heinous videos torturing and killing animals and torturing and murdering a human being. They're just not. If you're doing that, you're seriously mentally ill. Straight up. There's something off in your brain. So I kind of wish that they had kind of rounded out that background with his dad or his grandma or something, just kind of interjected that. They kind of let Anna talk for probably longer than they should have, in my opinion. I just kind of got sick of hearing her talk and hearing what she had to say. Luca's dad said that Anna isolated her children, that she wanted them to be homeschooled. He, as the dad, didn't want that. He wanted them to go to school. She wanted to isolate them. He didn't think she was qualified to homeschool them because she didn't finish school herself. And so all of these things kind of led up to him leaving. His own mental illness, his struggles with Anna. They had a very toxic, dysfunctional relationship, it seemed. He claimed that she was an alcoholic. I think he himself was an alcoholic. There's just a lot of toxicity in that relationship. And so you can kind of see how the products of this particular relationship kind of became such a hot mess. But it would have been interesting to hear what he had to say about this, especially to kind of counterbalance what Anna was saying. And even Luca's grandma. Like, I don't know if she's still around or not, but that would have been interesting. Or even other family members, or other people who knew Luca aside from the couple of childhood friends that they showed. Just something a little bit more than Anna just rambling about this Manny guy would have been better, I feel. I will say, I did like that they featured Junlin's best friend in the video to talk about what kind of person Junlin was, and what a nice guy he was and how tragic it was. that was really nice. I feel like we don't often hear enough about the victim, what kind of person they were. So it was nice to have his friend in there talking about what kind of person he was. That was really nice. It's just a sad story and very interesting. A couple other questions I had. Do you think that Luca did this for the notoriety? I kind of do. Like, it's pretty obvious he was mentally disturbed, but I also think that he wanted to be famous, and I feel like maybe he thought this would do it, you know? Like, why else would you post a video of that online? You know it's gonna be shocking, right? Even someone who's struggling with mental illness, they have to know that that's gonna be a shocking video, right? Especially considering he knew that people really caught on to his cat videos, right? He had to know that. And then I wonder, if they didn't catch him in Europe, would he have killed someone else and done the same kind of thing, like filmed it and put another video up online and been like, you know, the murder version of Catch Me If You Can, that movie, you know? I think he would have. Plus the fact that they caught him in that internet cafe looking up articles of himself, like, how narcissistic do you have to be looking up yourself in a public internet cafe to see where you are on Scotland Yard's top 100 or whatever criminals? I mean, come on, man. Come on. Anyways, he's just a vile human being, and I kind of hope that he rots in jail for the rest of his life, but we will see. We'll see. That's all I wanted to say about that, you know? Let me know what you think down below. I want to have a conversation about what you thought about this documentary. It was really interesting. It was really well done. It was very different. The thought of these amateur internet sleuths really being the ones to interact with the police and lead them to where they thought that he was based on these clues that they were finding online was just, it was interesting. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought, right? And it really shows the power of the internet, the power of these Facebook groups, of social media, that they can track someone down, they can find all of these Easter eggs in these videos and figure out where a person is, where they're from, what they're up to. You know, John and Deanna going through Google Maps looking for that one set of staircase. Amazing. That's dedication. That's dedication. You know, props to them. That's incredible. Anyways, I think for the third time now, that's all I've got for today. I just wanted to throw those things out there. Let me know what you think. You know, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, come back, let's talk about it, because it's really well done. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. I thank you for joining me today. Please like this video if you did like this video. If you didn't, that's okay. Not everything is going to be your taste. And please subscribe if you would like to stick around and see other videos that I'm going to put out. Join me on my YouTube journey. If not, that's okay as well. I just appreciate that you're here watching this. I hope that you are having a great day or a great rest of your day, and if today has not been a good day for you, I hope it gets better, and I hope that tomorrow is better as well. Tomorrow is always a new day, always a clean slate. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.